Welcome to the next lesson. So in this part, we are going to try to add another feature to this application. I haven't done it before, so I'm going to write the prompt for ChatGPT and see how it can make this change happen. And along the way, I will explain some of the tips that you need to remember when you want to tell ChatGPT to write codes for you. So here, as you can see in our application, we have, for example, a place to write the title, okay? We can click on this button to add the password. But what if we want to change the password? Okay, for example, this is my Instagram account and I click on show password. This is my password. I don't want it, or for some reason I need to change it. How I can change it? Should I delete it and create it again? Or how I can delete a password, right? So there are two features that you want to add, edit or delete. So let's come here and write down the code is working fine. All right. So I wrote down that the code that you wrote is working fine. So it's better to mention this so ChatGPT understand that whatever it wrote, it's okay and it's good, right? And then I mentioned that I want to add two other features, okay, to this application. First, I want to have a button called edit. So when I select a password and I want to edit or generate a new password, I have the ability to do so. Then I wrote down you can add a new space under the list. So here I'm suggesting to add a space here under the list. So when I select, for example, Instagram, then we have a button like edit. I click on the edit and then the interface connected to that section appear. Okay. So I'm going to write this and let's see what ChatGPT will provide. All right, the code is ready and I think it wrote from scratch, okay? Sometimes it just makes some change. It will write some codes, for example, a short couple of lines of code and tell you to add it, for example, inside the previous code, okay? But here, as you can see, it is showing us that here is your updated code. So it means that it wrote all the codes again. So here are our codes. Let's come here and copy the code. Go to our let me also close the application. Okay, let's come here, close this terminal. Let's select everything, remove, and paste the new code, save it, click on play. Okay, and let's come here and look at our application. So here we have our previous code, our previous passwords that we have made. We can click on show password. Let's see if previous features are working. Okay, it's working. Now I can click on edit password. So here it is showing us the password, right? You can see here it is then. Let me click on show password. It's the same password. So if I click, all right, this is the title for it. And then we have edit password. So if I click on edit password, what will happen? Nothing, right? So it will save it probably. So if I add, let's say if I can, all right, yeah, I can add something to it. So it let's see if it added this password. Right, it changed the password, but it doesn't generate it. So instead of edit password, maybe save password would be better, right? But it's not showing any other password to us, right? It's just the one that we created, okay? So it's not working fine, right? So it has this problem and it also created another folder here for us, which I don't know. Let's close this, right? And open the application again and see what will happen. So let's say this time I'm gonna select Discord, okay? And if I click on show password, this is the password, and then it will bring it here, right? Click on this. This is the password. It will bring it here. All right, so I got it. So when we click on show password, it will bring the password here as well, so we can edit it, okay? And let me see. We changed the previous password, right? But it's not here. So if I make some changes here to Amazon password and click, a new file will appear. But if I close this, I think right here is a bug, right? There are some problems. So I think it will show us the previous password, right? So let's tell ChatGPT what was the result. All right, so the first thing that I did, I mentioned that I applied the changes that you made, but there are some bugs. It is better to mention this to ChatGPT so it understands that we tried the new code, but it wasn't working. All right, so here I mentioned that when I select the code, okay, I made a mistake here. When I select a password, and click on show password, then it will also show the password inside the edit section, okay, which I don't want it. So I'm explaining what happened. This really helps ChatGPT to understand the issue and fix it for us. So I'm saying that, right, the way it works right now, for example, if I select Facebook and click on show password, then click OK, then we see the password here. This is not what we want, okay? This is not working really well. So I explained how it is working, and then I mentioned that, let me put it on another line so you don't mix it. So then I mentioned how I want it to be. I want to have a button beside show password button, okay? So here beside show password, I want to have edit button, okay, which is called edit. Then when I select the password and click on edit, then the new window or space appear, okay, and show the password with a button under it, save password or generate. Okay, let's make some changes here, and then show the password with 2 buttons under it. Save password. Okay, let me put it under beside quotation so it understands it better. And generate a new password button, okay, and save it. So generate button to generate a new password and save it. And let's explain the function for this button. Save the password, which save the changes we made in the password inside the database, okay? So what else do we need? Right, I think more or less it's fine. After that, I will tell ChatGPT to add a delete button as well. So for now, let's press enter and see the result. Okay, it's really good to do this step by step. Okay, because if we tell ChatGPT to do everything, for example, complete 10 tasks at the same time, it make different mistakes. Okay, and it may forgot some part of it. So it is writing the whole code again. And also we can tell ChatGPT to make some changes in the design. For example, I don't like the buttons like this. I don't like the titles like this, okay? Titles and buttons are very similar to each other when we are talking about the design. We can make it bigger, but it's not zooming in. Yeah, the size also is very small. So it's still writing the code. Let's, okay, click on continue. Right. Okay, so completed the code. Let's copy the code. And yes, it's finished. Let's close the application. Oh, there was another problem I forgot. So let's see if it fixed it itself or we have to tell it again. So let's save it, click on run. Okay, now let's come here. This is our new application. Okay, it's getting bigger and bigger. So these are not side by side, it's under it. Okay, we have save password, we have generate and save. So this is our Amazon password. Let's click on show. Okay, it's not showing it here. But if I click on edit, then it will show it here, right? Now, let's say I want to add number 2 at the end of it. Let's click on save. Now, right, this is the problem that I mentioned. It is creating another file here, but when we close this password generator, the new password won't exist. So let's click on show and see, right? We see the password that we changed, but if I close this, the file will be gone. And if we click on Amazon password, we don't have the changes. So that's the issue that we have to fix next. Let's also click on edit password and click on generate and save. So it created a new password. If we click on show, it will show us the new password, but if we close it, we will have the same issue, right? Right. So let's come here, let's close it and then fix it. Okay, we should come here. Let's first mention that the things that we asked, it was okay, but it has some issues that it needs to be changed. All right, so I mentioned that the code that you wrote, it is much better, but still there are some issues and it requires some improvements for the bugs. Right. So here I mentioned that when we select a password and then click on edit and make some changes in the password, then click on save password, I meant that when we select the password, click on edit and then make some changes here and click on save, it will create a new database file, okay? It creates a new database file, and when we close the application, the new database file will be deleted. And if we open the application again, we see the old password, not the new one. And then I mentioned it is the same if we select the password and click on generate and save. So let's see what ChatGPT will do for us. All right, so ChatGPT made some changes. Let's copy the code and let's close the application. Yeah, the file is gone. Let's come here and let's paste it, save it, and press play. Let's come here and here's Amazon. Let's click on show. Okay, this is the password. Click on edit. Let's add two at the end. Save password. Right, we don't see any file here. Okay, now if I click on show password, select Amazon, show password, we see the new password. Let's close the application. Come here and play it. Let's come here, Amazon, show password. Now we see the new password. Let's try generating. Click on edit. Now generate and save. Okay, this is the new password. Okay, if we click on show, we see the new password, right? Let's close it and come here and play again. Amazon, show password. Okay, right, it's working and it looks awesome. So as you can see, we made some requests and ChatGPT made some changes, but it's not a straightforward. It is not doing it without any bugs. There will be bugs, there will be issues, but you have to test it. You have to try it and find those bugs. And most important thing here is that you should explain everything that you see very clear to ChatGPT. Okay, because based on what you explain, ChatGPT will make changes. We'll look at the code, find the issues, and change it. Okay, so let's try putting these buttons side by side and also change the titles. So let's come here. All right, so in this prompt, I mentioned that the bugs that we had are gone and the application is working well, okay? And then I mentioned that I want you to make some changes in the design, okay? So it's not about the function, it's about the design. Then I mentioned the titles and the buttons are very similar to each other. I want the titles to be just simple bold text with bigger font size comparing to the other elements with no background or border, okay? Here we have, for example, this is a title, edit password, but you see it's very similar to buttons. It has a background and border. So Then I mentioned that there are two buttons. The buttons, I want the corners to be more rounded, and then the buttons show password and edit, they should be side by side in one line. Now they are in two lines, and one at the top of the other. It's the same story with the other two buttons, save password and generate, make them the same way. So let's press enter and see what ChatGPT will do for us. So let's see how it will change the style. So here's the code. And sometimes this happens because I have used ChatGPT a lot to generate codes. Sometimes it tries to fix something, but it make a mistake in another part. For example, right now, the functionality of this application is fine, okay? The look is not good, right? So it tries to fix the design, then some other issue will happen in the functionality. So every time you have to test it and make sure everything is working fine, same as before, right? And there are no new issues. Sometimes this happens, especially when it gets complicated and there are a lot of codes. ChatGPT make this mistake, so you need to be aware of that. All right, so here is the code, and it made some changes. The new version is using a grid layout for the buttons. So let's see how it is working. Let's copy it, come here, paste it, close this terminal, and I'm saving it with hotkey command and save on Mac, or you can come here and click on save, right? So let's come here, right, the application is closed itself. So let's click on play, come here. All right, so here, right, it made some changes. Still the titles are not okay, not the way that I want it to be. The buttons are not rounded, but anyway, it's okay. So we have show password and edit, and then we have save password and generate and save. So let's see how it works. Let me click on show to show it like this. Okay, let's click on edit, and it will show it here. Then, all right, it made it like this. I can tell ChatGPT to put or move these buttons under edit password title or under the field for editing password, okay? I think you can do it on your own. So try to make these changes, right? And I will put the code that it was generated by ChatGPT on the next article. So if you just want to use it, because even though that there are some issues and it can be better, I think it's a useful application, and you can save some of your password here. You can generate new passwords. And if you don't want your password to be on the internet using some websites to do this job for you, you want it to be all on your computer in one file, you can simply use this application, right? I will put this application, the code of it, inside the next article, so you can just copy and paste it if you didn't get the same result as I did, right? As you saw, we didn't write a single line of code, okay? We just explained to ChatGPT what it should do, right? And ChatGPT did everything for us, okay? Even though that I know Python, I even didn't look at the code, or for some part of it, I don't understand it because I have to read the codes from top to bottom until I understand it. But anyway, it doesn't need you to understand the codes, okay? It's working, right? We can convert our prompt into codes and applications. So that was all about this part. If you have any question, write it down for me. If not, I will see you in the next lesson.